You all know the city has said we have to change our garbage routines. We have signed a contract with, get it right, Dave, Northwest Waste Solutions. And Dave Mellencamp is here to give us the little, here's what you do, here's what you don't do. So we all do it right starting on the 1st of July. And somewhere in there's going to be some, when's our last pickup? I don't know. And how do we get ready for the 1st of July? And I think Dave's going to help us with some of that as well.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about the company, not to bore you, not to put you to sleep.
No,
but
well,
it's what I'm going to tell you is going to tie into exactly what you need to do in the building.
Okay.
Okay? The first thing is in anticipation of the changes that occurred. They actually occurred on January the 1st, not July the 1st, as most people tend to believe. Everywhere else in the Lower Mainland except White Rock, all these recycling changes and organics regulations were in play. It's unfortunate that White Rock didn't fall in line on the 1st of January, because from January 1st to July 1st is the learning curve. What happens on July 1st is that's when the landfills in the greater Vancouver start imposing the fines. So unfortunately, White Rock didn't get a chance, the residents of White Rock didn't get a chance to go through that learning curve.
I read about that.
Yeah. So in anticipation of those changes, one of the things we did is we invested about $30 million into a big facility in Vancouver called the Vancouver Eco Park. And it's 100,000 square feet of organics and cardboard recycling. What we do with every bit of cardboard, we collect, none of it ever sees a landfill. We collect it, it's processed, it's baled, and we actually sell it in China. That's why your cardboard service is free with our company. It's because we've found another way to make some money off it. And the appetite for cardboard in China is huge for recycling because of the manufacturing the goods that essentially should come back.
And then they send it back to us in containers.
That's right. Yeah, with a TV inside. So that's part of it. So that's why you were able to take advantage of our program where there's no charge for your cardboard service. The other thing that we did, and this one strikes home with people a lot more, is about 3.5, 4 years ago, we bought a 770-acre ranch up in the interior near Lytton. And we developed that into an organics recycling center. We're the only Class 1 organics recycler in the province.
Wow.
Every bit of organic material that we collect is trucked to the ranch near Lytton. It's an 18-month process, and we create certified organic soils, fertilizers. I've got a little sample here. Most people, when they think of organic soils, some of our competitors do it in 9 days. It takes us 18 months. If you want to just pass that around, you can see it. It almost looks like coffee. It's the most pure soil that you'll ever find. We supply the certified organic farms in the province of BC with their soils and their fertilizers. As our business is growing, our capacity is growing, what we've done is we've started to grow hops on the ranch, and we sell them to the microgrows in BC. Now, for those that aren't aware, hops are a very destructive type of crop. From my understanding, hops typically, you can grow 2 crops on a piece of land, and the land is basically dead for about 3 or 4 years. We can grow them every year because we've got these organic soils to replace and refurbish the land. We also started to raise organically fed cattle. We have organic clovers and hay. The reason I tell you about what we do is it's going to link right back to what you do upstairs and what goes into your little organics bucket. Because all I want you to remember, all the things we do, it's related to food, plus the beer, of course. So
It's a food group.
yes, it is. Yeah, it's the first one. Your bins will come with labels on them, your totes, and same with your bins. Like right now, you just have a white bin. When we're going to replace them all, we'll replace everything. And right on the bin, it'll say cardboard only, organics only, waste only.
You're replacing these too?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. With your cardboard, for example, you're gonna have your 2 bins there.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a 3rd bin. One is gonna be just cardboard. It'll have a
Oh, good.
swath across the front,
Yeah.
and your cardboard's gonna be free, so it has to be crushed to fit. Your bins is gonna be for waste, and then one of your bins is actually, because of the size of the building, one is gonna actually be for organics. Most buildings have like 15, 20 units, still have a tote, maybe smaller than that for the organics. You're gonna have a full-size bin
Oh, yeah, well, we've
because of
got
the
restaurants.
restaurants. The organics totes that you're gonna receive from the city, basically, I call them the under-the-sink tote, because that's where most of them end up. What goes in there is your food scraps, and paper products that come in contact with food, like napkins, pizza boxes can go in that, because they're compostable. If there's, again, everybody's been to a birthday party where there's a paper plate that has a napkin and a piece of cake on it, and there's a plastic fork and knife. Everything but the fork and knife can go into your organics, because it's all compostable and it's all been in contact with food.
Well, what about meat bones, you know?
Bones can go with
Bones.
your organics.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What about rose clippings?
All your, like any gardening
Yeah.
can go in your organics.
Okay.
All your yard waste
Yeah.
goes in the organics.
So for example, you know, if you go back to that
From the
example.
woman with the garden gloves on, right?
So back to that example of the chicken from with, you know, the frozen chicken, all the bones and skin and all this stuff people don't eat, that goes into the organics as
That's
well?
correct.
Okay, all righty.
That's correct.
So if it was formerly alive, it goes into organics?
Yeah. I've had, some buildings are pet-friendly, and I've had people say, well, you know, my cat litter is compostable, but I always say, would you eat it?
Yeah,
And that's why I tell the story about the farm and what we do up there.
right. So no pet waste?
Yeah, and then,
No pet
people
waste.
automatically, oh, okay, all right, that makes sense, so they keep it
So the
garbage.
cat
Right.
waste goes in the garbage?
Garbage.
Yeah, pet waste. So litter box,
Yep.
litter
in the
box
garbage.
contents? Okay,
But, yeah, and that, just think about what happens in the ranch, it's food.
Right.
It goes back into the food stream at some, you know, or
Right.
grow food with the soils.
okay.
Your other recycling streams, you'll have blue totes, like the ones you have here. You'll have some that'll be dedicated to glass metal plastics, which is just a little bit different from what you're doing now. I believe now you probably separate your glass.
Yeah, but that's,
Yeah.
before we didn't used to have to, and so it'll just be going back to the way it
Yes.
used to be.
Absolutely
Thank you.
correct, yeah. So all we ask is that when you put the glass that goes in there, not broken glass.
Right.
Okay, because, and again, we have another facility I haven't mentioned. In Abbotsford, we have a recycling sorting facility, and we have an arrangement with the BC Mental Health Association. We hire people who are basically unemployable. We pay them, they do the sorting. Any of the refundables that are in the recycling, it goes to either BC Mental Health or the charity of their choice. So that's why we don't want the broken glass in there. So the broken glass will actually go in your garbage. So glass, metal, plastics, we use the example, I'm sure everybody from one time or another is about a rotisserie chicken at Save-On Foods. You get the plastic clamshell on the top, you rinse that, that goes in your glass, metal, plastics. Most of them now, they used to be plastic on the bottom, the black part, but now most of them are styrofoam. The styrofoam goes in your garbage.
Right.
The styrofoam is not recyclable,
Right.
not in small quantities. Glass, metal, plastic, tin foil. Again, tin foil, just rinse it, it goes in your glass, metal, plastics.
Really?
Yep. You'll have a series of totes for mixed paper, and that's going to be your newspaper, any type of paper products. If the paper products have been in contact or saturated with food, again, they'll go back to your, or they'll be in your organics. But any other paper products, I've found in White Rock, the volume of mixed paper products is probably, in the blue totes, is probably the highest I've seen anywhere. I don't know why. I guess maybe we get a lot of flyers and research.
Well,
Maybe-
it certainly is a big item here.
Yep, and it is everywhere. When you do the separations properly, there's not a whole lot of garbage left.
No.
You know, if people are actually shocked, and a lot of people, when we do these talks, and afterwards, somebody eventually says, well, what actually goes in the garbage? You know, and I usually get stumped because there's not a whole lot.
Just soft plastics,
Soft plastics, you know, old clothing,
yeah.
if, you know, if it's, but there's not a whole lot left. There's really not a whole lot left. It's a little different now. Your waste removal was built into your taxes. Now you're paying monthly for it. So you're paying by volume. Your, you know, your price was determined by the size of your bins and how often they're serviced. Same with your totes, how often they're serviced. So you think about it, your glass, metal, plastics, if you have 2-liter milk jugs, plastic ones, just rinse them and crush them, just step on them. Because if you don't, they're just gonna fill up your totes very quickly, and you're gonna pay for all that air, because we'll have to service them. Yeah, well, it's gonna hit them in the, you know, basically, it's gonna end up on your, I try to stress it now, because if not, it takes you 16 to 17 months before you realize it. You'll go through a year, you'll pay your bills, it'll take 2 months after year end to get your financial statement, then you'll have your AGM the month after that, and somebody's gonna go, wow, look at the garbage bill, we never had a garbage bill before, that's horrendous. And everybody's gonna panic and say, what do we do, right? And finally, somebody in the back of the room's gonna say, well, you know, the bin is never full, you know that the plastic containers were never crushed, and everybody, the light bulb will go off then. Our service days are gonna be Mondays in White Rock are gonna be for recycling, all the blues. And Tuesdays are gonna be for waste, cardboard, and organics.
Okay.
So, actually, you know what, it's pretty good because, you know, I've lived in some places, sometimes where I've lived, you know, our garbage day was Friday, and it was a disaster because you accumulate 50% of your garbage over the weekend, or
Yes.
70%.
Yeah,
So it's nice when it goes out, like, right now mine's Monday, and I love it.
Oh, yeah, Monday is ours right now, so that's,
So that's not too bad. So
Quick review, I'd love to go down this list. So plastic bags, garbage, right?
correct?
Plastic tubs and bottles.
Pardon me?
I'm just thinking, if we went down the list, and just to make sure that we're all on the same.
And in your green.
Plastic bottles there?
Yeah,
they can go in
plastic
your-
tubs, bottles, they go,
Glass, metal, plastic?
yeah. Glass, okay, metal,
The milk carton, yeah, good, I'm glad you mentioned it. The milk carton
yeah,
is actually, you rinse it, squish it, and put it in with your mixed paper.
with your mixed paper.
where, I'm sorry?
Mixed
Mixed
paper.
paper. How about burlap?
Burlap?
Burlap,
I'm just
no.
reading down here.
No burlap.
Produce baskets, netting burlap. Produce baskets are usually, aren't they usually plastic?
Some are plastic, some are wooden. But
Some of the
they would go in your
plastic-
garbage?
Yeah, like the onion bags that come in those nets.
Yeah,
they-
that would go in your garbage.
Garbage,
Yeah,
okay.
same with your burlap.
Now, what about the plastic containers that have the little plastic pour spout on it? Like, a lot of them have the, you know, the little screw-on plastic.
If it's got metal attached, okay, you know what, I guess one of the, what came up with the last meeting was a good one, was sometimes you get chips, and they come in a tube,
Yeah,
but there's metal on the top and
Oh,
bottom.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah, so, you know, somebody said, oh, do I have to try to rip it apart? And I said, no, it'll go in your garbage. If you're bored some night and you've got nothing to do, you can actually cut the metal part out and separate the metal from the cardboard. That's gonna happen.
I do have a quick question, though, in regard to soft plastics, like plastic bags and...
Plastic bags?
Yeah,
Again, we'll take an example of a box of frozen chicken wings. It comes in a cardboard box.
Yeah.
The inside, there's a bag,
Yeah.
plastic bag, so that box actually doesn't touch the food.
Yeah.
It goes in your cardboard bin.
Right.
That bag goes in your garbage.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so getting back to the issue of the milk containers that have the plastic screw
my
top
goodness, it says
closure on it, or
everything.
like lots of orange juice containers have those now, it's like the,
At this point,
yeah.
what we're doing with those are going in the mixed paper.
right. So you take off the plastic bits. You could
We'll
cut
just
them
take,
out.
You know, the part that you can take off, take it
Yeah,
off.
okay.